Hey YouTube, it's Petey Two Finger here, and I just finished remixing Semantical Nightmare, so I'm happy about that. There's a cover on this album. It's called Harvest Moon, and I had no intention of doing a cover. I was at song nine. I had song nine done, and I went through my folder, and I really didn't like any of the ideas I had. And I watched a concert movie. This guy, what's his name? I forgot. It's some band, Converge. What was the other band?
I don't remember now.
Yeah, it's this guy, Brodsky. Steven Brodsky, I think his name is. And he's a guitar player. He's on this. There's this guy. He does corpse paint, and he has some kind of comedy black metal like comedy thing, that this show that they did, 2 minutes to late night, and Brodsky is one of the guitar players in that band, and that's how I came upon him. I didn't know him from Converge or any of these bands, but I watched a it was like a 90-minute live show, and it was a dedication to this guy who died, the bass player, died young. And I really didn't know any of these bands, but I was checking it out, and like about an hour into it, they played Harvest Moon, and I was like, what is this? Like, I've heard this before. I don't know what it is, but it's genius. Like, this is a really good piece of music. And I ended up figuring out it had a timestamp, and the name of the song was there, and I went and watched the Neil Young video, which I've seen. The first time I ever heard Harvest Moon was because the video popped up, and I watched the video, and I was like, oh, that's a nice Neil Young song. And then the more I heard it, the more it made me cry. Like, it's just such a beautiful song. It's like, Neil Young, man, talk about a motherfucker, right? Like, that guy, he can do no wrong. And there's some kind of emotion in his voice. Like, that guy, he's really an incredible fucking artist, Neil Young. Now, I have a confession to make. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I don't know the song, so I got a YouTube video of a tutorial how to play it that had a decent recorded version of it, and I put that audio in my timeline and I played along with it. And then I kept adding tracks and adding tracks and adding tracks, and eventually I deleted that guy's original track because it sounded different than all of mine, and it was like having someone else play on the album wouldn't be cool. So you end up with a piece of music that it was interesting, but there was no drums. And like, I get the idea, like, you could cover it with no drums if you just did an acoustic version, but I had all this other instrumentation, and it was really polished, and lacking drums, it just seemed kind of weird. So I did not know what to do. And today I did the same stupid shit. Because, like, what I should have done was figure out the tempo, pull up a jazz kit with brushes, and come up with a beat for it. And use that guy's track as a reference. So yeah, I didn't do that, and the guy who recorded his track, he wasn't listening to a click track, and he drifts significantly. So my track drifted significantly because I was tracking off of him, and I found a karaoke version, like, download these tracks, or you can buy our tracks from us, and here's some examples, and one of them was a drum track. And what they did, every few snare hits, they had another sound in it. that sounded like if you took a sledgehammer and smashed a glass marble. So they sabotage their own track, so you can hear it, but it's got this thing in there that's intermittent. Means you couldn't really use it unless you were. What I ended up doing was taking, chopping up the entire piece into individual drum beats and sliding them into where they go. And I didn't really like this track, so I had to alter a lot and come up with. It had one double hit that was perfect. That would set you up for the. What I did was just a kick, and then I did a whole ride on the bell, and then some crash, and then a gong, of course. Got to end it with a gong. So I put together the cymbal track and pieced together and like I would get done with a whole section and I would copy it and paste that over and it wouldn't line up. There's so much drift in this piece. So the drums, there's a lot of feel. You always hear people talk about home recordings if you're playing to a clock or you're using MIDI. Oh, there's no life in it. Well, this seems like the whole band has been drinking because there's it's just a fact of life. I mean, I was playing off of him, and there's feel in my track, and then the drums were redone, and some of that's dragged and rushed, obviously. So I'm not gonna go nuts. I don't know. I have yet to listen to all this stuff. I need to go through that process of really listening to these mixes and seeing what do I need to do. There was two kind of problem child songs where the mastering wasn't just like apply my my mastering preset that I've developed. Talk about doing it wrong. So yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how these mixes sound. I think that they're good. There's more tracks. There's more high-end information. The tracks are more aggressive. They're mixed. Where before I was really cautious, this is more gonzo, more like you're gonna, turn it up. So, and compressed. But I really, really went way out of my way to avoid any type of limiting, brick wall, over-compressed, that loudness wars shit. I really try to. I'll tell you what, I got an album from Rob Fetters and I looked at the tracks. I dropped one into my DAW and I saw this gap. What's that? No, I'm kidding. So, what else did I want to talk about? Oh, our heat broke. There's something called a zone valve power head, and all of those have gone out. They're like $60-$80 to replace, and there was a couple of them in the laundry room. Anyway, we didn't have heat for the past couple of days. We were running space heater, and it was cold. And finally, I went in there and looked, and I found the company that makes it is Taco. It's TAC, Taco. And there was a Taco zone valve power head in there in a box, a new one, gold, but it was missing the studs. So I took the studs out of the broken one. They were rusted out. I filed them. First I used a wire brush, and I filed them nice. And then I went in there and flip-flopped undid all of the AC wiring. There's 3 wires. Cut those on there. You're right next to this chimney that's like 140 degrees. It's really, it kills my back. And the bearing assembly on the pump is going. So he's gonna have to have that replaced. But yeah, I saved him another. I've replaced all four of those Takeo zone valves now, and we ordered a couple of them off of eBay. So I've helped out the landlord with that and saved him quite a bit of money. Anyway, took care of that. We got the heat going, and today I had some kind of a bummer. Cassandra Stepp passed away. Now she was a huge fan of the Raisins, the Psychodots, Rob Fetters. I believe she was Rob's girlfriend at one point in time. There's a song called Quarters where he sings about saving the 25-cent pieces so they get enough to buy a pizza so they wouldn't have to get another fucking job. And that was the song he wrote for Cassandra. Or he was hanging around with her, and they were going and getting these pizzas, saving quarters to get something to eat. That was this girl who always, whenever there was a Fetters meme or poster, she was the one that was promoting it. Like, he would come up with these posters or images for the concert, and he would give them to her, and she would go on the internet. And so she was always in the Fetters live streams, which I'm always there too, every Saturday night. So I knew her as the girl who was kind of like the curator there, like she was like fan number one. And I'm not sure if she was there last week, but I went to leave a message to Bob, the bass player, because there's a Kinks documentary that came out in 2018, and that just showed up on YouTube the other day on the 21st of February. And I was like, oh, Bob would probably enjoy seeing that again. I'm sure he's seen it. So I was going to go and link him that, and it says, condolences to the family, Cassandra Stepp, rest in peace. And he typed out a whole thing talking about her and how when he met her and how much of a music person she really was. She was just a complete fanatic about rock and roll. She loved Greg Kinn, and she loved the Raisins, the Psychodots. She was a Cincinnati girl, so obviously, she knew what was good. So that was kind of a bummer. Someone that I kind of knew, I used to say hi to her. She was like everyone would check in with her. And if she wasn't there, people were like, where is she? And then she'd pop in a couple minutes later. Oh, I was doing this. I had no idea anything was up. I'm not sure what happened. I know that I read today that she had suffered some health problems. There was images of her in a wheelchair. So it's one of those things. It's like someone I knew is all of a sudden they're gone. They're gone. And I mean, I didn't know her. Wasn't friends with her, but it's just one of those things where it's like, man, it happens so fast. So try to avoid the petty stuff with the people that you care about. That's the point there. Anyway, I am going to eventually get this thing re-edited and upload it. And I can't wait to listen to it again. I am so blessed and so thankful and so grateful to the people who bought copies of the MP3s, which enabled me to get this new interface and also this set of speakers. The system it's really great. Compared to what I had, it's just excellent. It really is. And I cannot wait to share this music with you. I really do think that you're going to love the new mixes. I added a lot of tracks. But all of that stuff that I added is kind of in a supporting role, you know. And I kept the wacky sound effects to a minimum. But it does end with a big gong. Hey, that's what I was hearing, you know. I hear it, I throw it in there. Anyway, you guys, take care of yourselves. And again, if you're on the outs with somebody, you know, maybe make an effort. I mean, there's only so much you can do. You know, sometimes you'll try to reach out to somebody that you've fallen on the wayside with, and they just they're not ready. You know, but you do what you can. You know. And in my case, I know it always seems selfish because I'm usually peddling something. I'm like, I can't help it. My life revolves around this stuff that I think is cool, and I want to share that with people. It's not always something I made. That's rare. Usually it's something else. Like I haven't talked to this guy for 5 or 10 years. I could probably talk to him for 6-8 hours on the phone, just playing catch up with all of the interesting things that he's missed. And in the meantime, like, well, what was that guy doing with his life? What was he listening to? Because it wasn't anything good. I remember this particular guy posted a picture of him at the Imagine Dragons concert. His new girlfriend had taken him there. And my comment was that I imagined that she would be dragging him all over the place. Anyway, I got an update on that guy, and they're no longer a couple. His new ex-wife that he met. They're no longer a hot item, but she does live at his house with her new lover, boyfriend. I don't know, man. No comment on that. Anyway, you guys, like I said, I gotta maybe reach out to that guy. He might not want to talk to me out of embarrassment, but I got to get the update on that Imagine Dragons concert. They're from Salt Lake too. All right, I'll see you soon.